Vladimir Tarasenko didn't just beat Nashville. He made the comeback like it had a sniper attached to it. Welcome back to Blue 100. I'm Kevin, and I'm documenting one game per player until I reach 100. Today it's Blue 6, Vladimir Tarasenko, February 10th, 2019. Blues at Predators. This is the good stuff. Hat trick, overtime, game winner. 6 straight wins, a division rival, and a team clawing its way back from the dead. This isn't preseason archaeology. It's a real Tarasenko game, which means the Blues were in trouble. Then Vladimir Tarasenko decided the trouble had run long enough. This game happened in Nashville at Bridgestone Arena, one night after the Blues had beaten the Predators in St. Louis. So it was a home and home against Nashville, and Nashville wasn't just a random team on the schedule. They're a Central Division measuring stick. They'd been to the final in 2017, and they won the President's Trophy in 2018. They're still very much in that heavy, annoying gold helmet energy window. The Blues are not supposed to be here yet, but by early January, St. Louis had been at the bottom of the league. The season looked like it might turn into a teardown. Then Jordan Binnington arrived, Craig Berube steadied the bench, Ryan O'Reilly became the center of gravity. Suddenly, the Blues started looking less like a disaster and more like a problem. Coming into this game, St. Louis was on a 5-game winning streak. They were 26, 22, and 5, still trying to dig out. Nashville was 33, 19, and 4, already established, respected, so this wasn't just 2 points. This was the Blues saying, seriously, we're here, we're in the room. Tarasenko was the guy who kicked the door open. Vladimir Tarasenko was drafted 16th overall by the Blues in 2010. For a long stretch, he was the closest thing St. Louis had to a pure superstar scorer. He came from Yaroslavl, Russia, and played in the KHL before coming to North America. He wasn't a vague upside pick. He was a real offensive prospect, high-end winger, a shooter with weight behind the hype. When he got to St. Louis in 2012-13, the shot translated right away. And that shot became the thing. The Tarasenko shot wasn't just hard. Plenty of NHL players shoot hard. But it was sudden. It came off his stick like the puck had been released from custody. Goalies didn't just miss on Tarasenko shots. They looked like they were betrayed by it. By 2014-15, he was a 37-goal scorer, then 40, then 39, then 33. For 5 straight seasons, he gave the Blues elite goal scoring. That's not a casual sentence in this franchise's history. St. Louis has had great players. It's had great teams. It hasn't always had that clean, terrifying, game-breaking finisher, but Tarasenko brought that, and he did it while carrying a strange kind of quietness. This guy's not a Carnival Barker superstar. He wasn't selling you the movie of himself every single night. He just kept appearing in the dangerous area, pulling the puck into that release and making the scoreboard change. By this point in 2019, he was already one of the most important offensive players the Blues had ever had. But he was also part of the larger question. Could this core actually win? Tarasenko, Pietrangelo, Schwartz, Schenn, Parayko, Baumeister, Steen. They're not kids anymore. They've been close, and they've been good. They'd also been frustrating. The Blues have spent years feeling like they were maybe one breakthrough away. And then the first half of 2018-19 made everyone wonder if the window slammed shut already. Tarasenko didn't answer that question alone, but on this night, he gave the correct response. And here's the thing I like about this game. Nashville's the right opponent, not because this is some ancient holy war. It's not that. But Nashville was basically what St. Louis wanted to prove it could still become. Hard to play against, loud building, deep enough, dangerous enough, already treated like a serious Western Conference team. The Blues weren't trying to build a rebuilding team. They weren't trying to beat a rebuilding team and pretend it meant something. They were beating Nashville twice in 2 nights. And when Tarasenko wins this one in overtime, it doesn't feel like a random hot hand. It feels like a message sent inside the division. The Blues were not done being a problem. The first period was scoreless. It's very polite of hockey because the second period lost its mind. At 2:56 of the second, Petrangelo opened the scoring on the power play. Jay Bouwmeester and Ryan O'Reilly assisted. Then Tarasenko made it 2-0 at 4:41. Bouwmeester and Braden Shen had the assists. The Blues looked like they might be taking control, but they weren't. 25 seconds later, Victor Arvidsson scored for Nashville to make it 2-1. Just 45 seconds after that, Tyler Bozak answered for St. Louis. So in less than 3 minutes, the game went from love to 3-1 Blues. And everyone involved apparently decided defense was a rumor from another zip code. The third period got worse, or better, depending on how much you enjoy blood pressure. Roman Josi scored at 2:48 to make it 3-2. Arvidsson scored again at 6:10 to tie it. And this is where the game starts asking whether the Blues are actually different now. It's the old Blues script. Maybe they wobble. Maybe Nashville takes the building over. Maybe this becomes another road loss in a season full of reasons to doubt. Instead, Tarasenko scores again at 7:06. Blues lead 4-3. And that should have been the ending. Tarasenko goal, Blues hang on, clean little road win. Everyone goes home and says responsible things about structure. Nope. Philip Forsberg tied it at 12:53, 4-4. Nashville's pushing. Jake Allen has to survive 44 shots in his first game since January 17th. Then overtime started. 16 seconds later, overtime ended. Tarasenko took the puck along the right wall, beat Victor Arvidsson, cut inside past Roman Josi, then beat Juuse Saros stick side. That's the hat trick and an overtime winner. That was his 22nd goal of the season and his 200th regular season goal. And that's the Blues leaving Nashville with 4 points in 2 nights. The quotes afterward were perfect because nobody had to decorate this game. Tarasenko basically said he tried to take it to the net, beat one guy, good things happened. It's a very modest way to describe skating through Nashville's entire defense and ending the game before offense had a time to develop any personality. Craig Berube was more direct. He said the 3 goals were huge, that Tarasenko was feeling it, and he pointed out that he had 8 shots on net. Wasn't a 3-shot magic trick. Tarasenko was hunting all night. Jake Allen was also central. He made 40 saves after sitting out for 23 days, and the Blues needed him. The final score says 5-4, but Nashville outshot St. Louis 44-29. So this wasn't domination. It was survival plus star power. And honestly, that's more interesting because championship teams don't always look clean before they become championship teams. Sometimes they look like this: a goalie holding the rope, star scorer finishing, everybody pretending the whole thing is calmer than it was. And the Blues kept going. This win became part of the 11-game winning streak that fully changed the season. The team that had looked dead in January became the team nobody wanted in spring. They finished 3rd in the Central Division, then they beat Winnipeg, then Dallas, then San Jose, then Boston. Game 7, road ice. First Stanley Cup franchise history. And Tarasenko wasn't just a passenger. He had 11 goals in the playoffs. He scored in the final. He gave the Blues exactly what he'd been giving them for years: legitimate, high-end scoring danger. The difference was that this time, the rest of the machine held together. Tarasenko's story got complicated. The shoulder injuries came, multiple surgeries, lost time, trade request, repair, return. Then in 21-22, he comes back with 34 goals and 82 points. It's the kind of season that reminded everyone star version hadn't disappeared. It'd just been buried under medical paperwork and frustration. Eventually, St. Louis moved into the Rangers in 2023. He later went to Ottawa, then Florida, where he helped the Panthers win the Stanley Cup in 2024. That part's a little funny. The guy who helped St. Louis win its first cup left, bounced around, won another one. After Florida, he signed with Detroit, and in 25, was traded to Minnesota. By then, he wasn't still the prime version anymore, but he was still Tarasenko, still a 2-time Cup champion, and still a player with one of the great Blues scoring peaks attached to his name forever. Next time we go from Tarasenko ending a game in 16 seconds to Kevin Looney ending possessions all night. Warrior 31 is Kevin Looney, May 13th, 2022, Game 6 against Memphis. Looney had 22 rebounds, 11 of them offensive. The Warriors needed a grown-up game, and he gave them the least glamorous masterpiece imaginable. It's not a mixtape episode. So why the hell does Golden State keep getting another shot? That's next. So that was Blue 6, Vladimir Tarasenko, February 10th, 2019. Blues 5, Predators 4. Hat trick, overtime winner, 6th straight win, 200 career goals. And it's the kind of game that makes a signature episode easy, because Tarasenko didn't just score. He made the season feel more real. The Blues were climbing out of the grave. Nashville was standing in their way, and Tarasenko turned a back-and-forth road game into one more piece of the Blues' resurrection. I'm Kevin. This has been Sports Lab 100. Stay kind and keep moving. And thanks for watching.